What's going on, everybody? Today is Tuesday, March 6th, the day after Ryan Martin took that Fireball Camaro and shoved it down Alex Laughlin, Richard Rollins, and Gas Monkey's throat. I seen it coming. I thought it was going to happen. A week or so ago, I was looking on BNR's Instagram page, and there was a bunch of people telling him and talking about how they couldn't believe he was stooping low enough to race Richard Rollins, that Richard Rollins had everything to win and nothing to lose, and Ryan Martin had everything to lose, and that they wasn't going to watch it or something along them lines. And Ryan Martin said, "Stay tuned," and a winky face, and I took that as he was going to win. I don't think Ryan Martin would be the one to do that if he wasn't. But nevertheless, that is 4 races that Gas Monkey has raced against the 405 and has got shut out. Now, with that being said, I do agree on that second race, if Alex would have stayed hooked and stayed in his lane, or for that matter, if he would have just stayed in his lane, he would have won that second race and probably won that third race, but he didn't. The first race that they raced was a drag race, buddy. What looked like a fender at the end, that was a drag race. Ryan Martin had already said that he run a faster time than either car did last year. That was during testing. As we know, Martin has the fastest car the 405 has on a prep track. I've been saying it for months. Last night just proved it. I can't say how ecstatic I am about Ryan Martin beating that Challenger. I know I'm going to get killed in the comments. I don't care. I'm ecstatic he won. And I almost done a live feed. I am so happy he won, because if Richard Rollins would have won, that would have been a feather in Richard Rollins' hat. Richard Rollins outrun the fastest people on the planet, supposedly. I feel like Richard Rollins has tried to cheat 2 years in a row. As we all know, Richard Rollins cheated with the rules last year. But he come back and said that he didn't get the same set of rules. But propped up against that green Mustang, he did say that the motor could not be no bigger than 500 cubic inches. In the Chief and Sean podcast, they said it was more. Everyone knew that that Hemi was more than 500 cubic inches, and he said it was last night. Therefore, he is admitting to lying last year. He tried to lie and cheat this year. Did you notice that Kyle Busch just set the rules on fire because he knew that it was BS? When Richard didn't understand why there was so many rules in it, he is not a race car owner, operator, driver, anything. All that stuff comes into play in grudge racing and no prep racing and any type dirt track racing. You know, every type of racing that I know of, you have to weigh a certain thing. You have to weigh a certain amount. Weight matters. Does he not understand that the more you weigh, the more you have to carry down the track? Richard just does not understand racing, yet he keeps entering these things, and I know Discovery or Pilgrim 1 is pushing him into it, but he has the ability to say no. I agree Gas Monkey builds nice cars, but that's where they need to stay, is in nice cars. And to be honest with you, they all look the same, they all perform the same, they all do the same. The only difference is the color, and hell, even a lot of the colors are the same. Richard Rollins is a guy about money. If you listen to the Chief and Sean podcast last year, I think it was number 39 or something like that, about the mega race, that was only a side project to him, a tax write-off, where these guys live it. That is Ryan Martin's office chair. That is where he clocks in to do work. I understand he owns BNR Performance, but that is where BNR Performance makes money off Ryan Martin and the Fireball Camaro succeeding. And I'll tell you one more thing while I'm on that subject. Did you notice that I seen Chuck, I seen Dominator, I seen Big Head Doc, I seen several of the 405 guys behind him, guys that he races on a weekly basis was back behind him. Who did Richard have? He didn't even have his money bags buddy Dennis Collins with him. There was nobody behind Richard. I feel like when he got Kyle Busch in on it, he thought that he had somebody in his corner. I understand that that man is well known and respected in motorsports, but what the hell does he have to do with drag racing? Maybe something I don't know. If there is, let me know. But what the hell did he have to do with drag racing other than he races? Nothing to do with drag racing. He goes in circles. It was a total blowout. Ryan Martin walked out of his life. I will say this, in the second race, when that car got all kind of ugly and Alex crossed, if you look over in the other lane, the Fireball is out of shape also, but the difference is when it got out of shape and he lifted and was going to get back in it, if he would have got back in it, he would have hit Alex. So that's why when it shows him roll across the finish line, it takes so long for the Fireball to cross, is because he was out of it a long time ago. As I've said 2 or 3 times already in this video, I am very, very glad Fireball won it because, like I said, he had everything to lose and actually nothing to gain. I want to go back to last Monday when the build-up started for all this. That car was very dirty of Richards sitting under that shed. He said it had been sitting a year. It looked to me like it had primer dust on it. I don't think the car had been sitting outside for a year. If it did, it would have way more problems than what it did as far as visually. There would just been a lot more to it than what there was. I feel like it had been pushed out there for the aesthetics of the show, and the car had really not been sitting out there a year like you said. Now, one more thing that Richard said when he brought all the monkeys in, when he apparently had got the word from Pilgrim or Discovery or whoever that he was going to be doing the mega race again. He said, "Oh, you'll have to forgive me. I don't watch the show. I don't know who's number 1. I called Big Chief and he declined." Bullshit. You know what's going on in a 405. You just got done with the garage rehab thing and you was up there with Farm Truck and Asian at that shop that you helped rehab, which was another total joke that you got somebody swindled into helping you build. But that's beside the point. But that you can tell from that he was never happy about none of it. He kept calling them crybabies. I guarantee you, if anybody from Midwest Street Cars confronted him, he wouldn't say that shit to their face. There's no way. There's so many memes that had been made about Richard Rollins from last year. I'll put a few of them up on the screen right now. That is hilarious. And I just cannot believe that he had the balls to say the things that he did on the days building up to it. I'm not trying to take anything away from Alex Laughlin, Kenny Laughlin, or Frankie Taylor. All well-respected guys in the sport. I feel like they just got wrestled into it when he was driving the Pro Stock car of Richards. I feel like that is the only reason why he got mixed up in all this stuff. But, man, I seen him in that Corvette Speed Society's radio racing not too long ago in Valdosta. The guy is going places. I feel like being associated with Gas Monkey is going to bring him down. I hope it don't. I like Alex. Don't have a problem with Alex at all. I don't have a problem with a lot of the guys at Gas Monkey. They're kind of guilty by association, but I still respect the guys. I feel like they do amazing work. I feel like that's why Aaron left. But, you know, it is what it is. We've seen what we've seen. Fireball walked out of his life. About end of story. I used to think a lot of Gas Monkey when the show first come on. But then again, we didn't have a whole lot else to choose from. There was not very many car shows on television at the time. They kind of kicked the doors in, as he says, and they had some good builds. But like I said, they're all the same. They built the same cars. Aaron left, and it went to shit. Last season, every build they done, it took 2 episodes. It drove me crazy watching one car get built in 2 episodes when they used to build 2 cars in 1 episode. Don't even make no sense. I just want to touch a little bit on the whole Farm Truck and Asian versus the Misfit guys. Farm Truck and Asian are known for doing wild and crazy stuff, the antics they do on the show and all. I said it in several videos already. You know, I miss the antics that they do, the crazy stuff that they do. But even though they built the weirdest, most retardedest thing I've ever seen in my life, the Goneril. It's on the screen right now. It was an old monorail from OKC from, the 50s or 60s, and they put it on an SS Trailblazer frame, which to me wouldn't have saved them very much weight from that SS Trailblazer body if they would have gutted the Trailblazer. But when that thing took off and left that Mustang like it did, that blew my mind. I was not expecting that. I know it's all-wheel drive, and that's why it done it. But it blew my mind that they walked off and left him like that. But in my opinion, Farm Trucking Asian was 100% right about the rules as far as let's not race 10 laps. I feel like the Misfit guys was trying to promote their show, and what was the difference in 6 laps and 10 laps, really? You know, I don't feel like it should have made that big of a difference. You know, Thomas Weeks whined and cried. I don't know if he'd been listening to Richard or if he called Richard to ask him if that was okay if he'd done it. But you heard Farm Truck say, I think you're making too big a deal of it. And he was. But either way, they had that race won. And then it showed them popping champagne when they won by default. Nothing really to brag about there. You got your ass handed to you. You lost. Go home. Lick your wounds. Sell your car. Let Ponytail, John Clump, throw a little hissy fit. Whatever. You got your ass handed to you. A freaking monorail on a Trailblazer just outrun your Mustang you built. Good job, guys. I'm going to wrap this video up by saying this. Any respect that I had from any television show filmed in the state of Texas, Misfit Garage or Gas Monkey, I lost last night. All of them are crybabies. They all think they're entitled to something, which they're not. And I was very, very glad to see both of them get beat, technically. Farm Trucking Asian walked off and left them, and Ryan Martin walked out of Alex's life. I'm going to end this video right here. This video has been a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I had to emphasize how much the people in Texas on television sucks. There's a lot of people in Texas whom I absolutely think is amazing, but the ones that those two sucks. This is Jeremy East signing off. As always, all your comments below, any information you want me to know, email address on the screen. And also, if you are a business owner, a small business owner, anything, and you want or need me to put anything into my videos, if you're interested at all, send me an email and put it in the subject line what it is, and we will discuss it from there. But you should be able to click in one of the top hand corners to subscribe, the other one to watch the project car video. Thanks for watching. Godspeed. See you next video.